On June 5, 1934, about a year and a half after Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of the Reich, the leading lawyers of Nazi Germany gathered to design what would become the Nuremberg Laws, the core of Nazi racial ideology. A stenographer recorded every word, ink on paper, preserved in archives where most Americans will never look. The transcript reveals something we would rather forget. The meeting opened with a detailed memorandum on the race laws of the United States. For hours, these Nazi jurists examined American legal precedents. They debated whether to bring Jim Crow segregation to Germany. They dissected anti-miscegenation statutes from 30 American states. They reviewed how the United States classified and restricted the citizenship and political rights of colonized peoples, including Native Americans and Filipinos. They were especially struck by the one-drop rule, the idea that a single black ancestor, no matter how distant, made one black. And here is the part that should stay with us. As Yale law professor James Q. Whitman documents in Hitler's American Model, some Nazi jurists believed that parts of U.S. racial law were too extreme to implement in 1934 Germany. Let that sink in. The architects of the Holocaust looked at Jim Crow and thought, that might be going too far. This meeting confirms what black intellectuals had been warning for generations. Jim Crow was not simply a failure of American democracy. It was American fascism, fully operational, and influential enough that the Nazis studied it as a model. We like to imagine fascism as something foreign, something that happened over there. But as Whitman documented, America in the early 20th century was the leading racist jurisdiction in the world. And Nazi lawyers understood this clearly. Here's the truth we avoid. Fascism has an American accent. We just learned not to hear it. We teach the Berlin book burnings, but not the Tulsa massacre of 1921, where a prosperous black neighborhood was bombed from the air and burned to ash. We remember Kristallnacht, but forget Rosewood, 1923, where an entire black town was erased. We teach the Nuremberg trials, but not Buck v. Bell in 1927, when the U.S. Supreme Court legalized forced sterilization with the words, "3 generations of imbeciles are enough." We condemn the concentration camps of Europe, yet built our own, for Japanese Americans, from 1942 to 1945, even as we claimed to be fighting fascism abroad. This is our history.